Welcome, everyone, to the Chasta and Huey podcast. It's like hanging out with your childhood buddies at a dive bar having a beer together. Throw your headphones. Or better yet, they're like a security blanket. Maybe a little itchy, but still warm and cozy. It's time for the show. Here's Chasta and Huey. Cheers.
Finally, we're back. We're going to have to shake the dust off. Jesus. How we doing, brother man?
I'm good. You sound like The Rock going, finally, The Rock has come back to our podcast.
Yes. Yeah. And a special guest today, The Rock. No.
Yes, absolutely.
Special guest today, my new shirt, though. How fun is this little Halloween dancing skeleton business? Isn't that so cute? It's like orange and black tie-dye. Would this count for a giant shirt?
Totally. You can blend in. Wait, wasn't there like an old Disney cartoon with like dancing skeletons or something back in the day?
It's one of that's like from the 19...
Was it like Fantasia 40s or something?
No, it's
it was a separate thing.
It's a separate thing, but it's very, very popular. It may even go back further than that. I have to look it up. Dancing Skellington. It's Monday. How we doing though? Seriously, it has been is this 3 weeks?
I think it's about a month now since the last episode, because if I remember correctly, something came up on one Monday.
Skeleton Dance 1929 film. Yeah. I was right. I was second guessing myself that it was the 30s, but I'm just
trying to think in my head because like something came up on one Monday. We couldn't make it. I forgot something happened.
We were sick, and then who cares? It's been a lot this month. There's been a lot going on.
Well, then Aftershock, we also did the interview with Meg beforehand, so there was a lot going on. And then I had that advisor meeting last week. I'm an advisor now.
Oh yeah, he's a radio advisor. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Instant Out High School, Go Jets, my old high school in Alameda. They have a radio station. And so Kevin Gorham, the teacher, the man behind it all who started it, love that guy, awesome person. He just asked me a while ago to be the advisor. So last Monday was like a meeting at the school district here in Alameda. Just kind of learning more about what is involved being an advisor and just contributing. It's just more or less, from my perspective, like making sure the curriculum is up to date with the current standards of our industry. So, and then Kevin and I were just brainstorming. There's a lot of things he wants to do with the kids and like see us in action, get a tour of the radio station, maybe be a part of events that we've done in the past. Like, so they want to go to like a Niner game, get a tour of Levi's. So I've been like trying to figure out who to contact. So we're getting pieces set up and like movie screening. So I just want to help pass it forward pay it forward for the next generation of future potential radio stars here in the Bay Area.
Broadcasters of the future. Look at you doing the Lord's work for radio over there.
Thank you.
Hey, my niece Michaela, our third co-host, is here. What's up? Michaela Barrett, it's been a while. We are shaking the dust off. I just want to give out a disclaimer. I'm petting my hair right now because I did a hair mask last night. My friend Jess made me some like hair oil that's like rosemary and mint. And look how freaking shiny it is, and if you can feel how soft, so I'm like petting myself right now. I'll give you some and you can do it. I mean, I know you have the best hair in radio. I don't want to give you any hair advice.
There was someone else recently said they had the best hair in radio. I'm like, let's have a face off or hair off.
That has been your tagline for the better part of a decade. So.
I know exactly.
How dare them. Michaela, there is no link for the hair mask. It is handmade from my friend Jess. So unfortunately, it lives in my fridge. That's the only place. Let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit here. We're going to talk Aftershock. We're not going to do a full in-depth whole episode about it because we actually just did that and it just posted on Soundwaves TV. We did we do this every year, the Aftershock recap episode. So soundwavestv.com, we dive deep, we show clips of interviews, we tell behind the scenes stories and all of that, and it's super fun. And of course, all the full interviews are up on YouTube as well on the Bones account. But we did want to bring up a topic that was inspired by Aftershock, I would say, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It was interesting. Well, okay, for me, just you and I, we had so much fun at Aftershock. Amazing. It's like the best festival in Northern California that caters to hard rock metal. So much fun. We did 22 interviews over 4 days. So much fun. It was just great seeing, talking to so many bands, people that we know they're in the industry, listeners, all that stuff. For me, my big takeaway from Aftershock weekend as just a fan, I really feel like there is a shift this was the weekend. It was a reminder, there's a shift in the music industry right now, the hard rock metal world, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
This was a weekend. There's a change going on. There's a changing of the guard. There's a new batch of bands that are now becoming really popular and are now moving on up into like that main event spot, if you want to call it, or the headliner spot of like these festivals, for example. But like they're going to carry the torch for rock music for years to come. And it was an eye opener. Just number one was just Bring Me the Horizon. They headlined day number 4. And I was blown away. You and I have been lucky. We've attended a lot of live shows, a lot of live concerts and events. Bring Me the Horizon, that was one of the best live shows I've ever seen. Just the songs were catchy, headbanging. The crowd was moshing, jumping up and down, having a good time, crowd participation with the band. But also the pyro, the light show, and like this video game / zombie apocalypse game that was going on in between the songs was playing along. You were engaged the whole time during their set. It was so much fun. I loved it. So yeah, like I think I told you on Bone Breakers, it was like, not to make a Star Wars reference, it was like a disturbance in the force, but in a good way, that there's a changing of the guard in the rock and metal world. There's, like I said, rock is changing. Rock is coming back. You and I both said rock after Aftershock, like you and I both said, rock is not dead. It is like resurging right now.
Yeah, I think it is resurging, and it. I mean, look, I think it ebbs and flows, right? And you can be in your own little bubble when it comes to the music world. I'll give you an example real quick. So, we live in the rock world, right? And so we always think rock is big all the time. If you don't live in that bubble, you may not know about what's going on. For instance, last night and then again tonight, there is a rapper that's playing in New Orleans. Of course, New Orleans is my second home, and so I pay attention to the news there. Apparently, this guy is like, they're comparing him to like Tupac and shit. Never even heard of the guy. He filled up like the Superdome there, and apparently could fill it up multiple times. And he went down Bourbon Street by himself and caused like a ruckus. They actually had to put like 200 or 300 extra police officers out in the force because this one guy was in town. I've never even heard of him. So my point is it's really easy to get sort of isolated in different areas of the music world and not know what's going on. So if you haven't been paying attention to the rock world, oh boy, do you have a lot to dive into, because there's bands left and right.
Yeah, well the thing is, because you and I, like, we grew up in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s of what the old industry was, pre-social media, pre-streaming services, and the traditional way of finding out about music was listening to the radio, what was on MTV, magazines, you know, what bands were on display. You go to a record store, which bands are on display there. So it was like this old way of discovering bands, or what was being force-fed to you. Like, let's be real, MTV make or break a lot of bands' careers based on who they were pushing and promoting at the time. So they kind of dictated what was trending. And I would love to find out more of like how they decided what bands to push and whatnot. I mean, you and I, like on our very small scale, like for example, Bone Breakers, like what bands we like, we dig, or think that the audience would like. So like on our little small scale, we make our playlist. Like there's bands we cater to or like that we want to play. So I can only imagine MTV on that huge scale. It's like, oh my God, you have a place. Your platform is so huge at the time, and what you decide, like, this is the top rock band right now. Like, case in point, you know, sad news, Sam Rivers, the bassist of Limp Bizkit, passed away. Obviously, this whole weekend, just think about, you know, Limp Bizkit and just how massive they were in the late 90s, early 2000s. They, along with like Korn, Blink-182, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, you know, that whole era of just what was popular at the time based on what MTV told you. So what I'm just getting at is, in today's world, it's a whole new way of being popular. I feel like because of MTV is not what it is anymore, and you know how things have changed. You're right, like different genres exist, and so you just have to go find it on your own and figure out what's big and what's trending right now. So it's almost like the Wild West. It's a little convoluted. It's a lot of white noise to fight through, but you get what I'm saying. It's like we don't have someone dictating like, this is the big band right now. It's almost like you have to like go to like a festival or follow on social media, discover bands. So it's interesting to see what bands are taking off right now in a new sense of how you get promoted and like get your name out there. That makes sense.
Gosh, there's like 4 offshoot conversations.
Yes, I know.
That one statement that you just made. I do have to say though, like this is a selfish plug for all of us that work on Soundwaves TV, because that's what we're attempting to do is, help be the tastemakers, help show like, here's music that you need to hear. That's the whole point of Soundwaves is like, these are musicians that you may not know about and you should. But with that being said, it's interesting because there is a lot more access to music now. But then at the same time, there's a lot of noise. Just because everyone can make music, should they? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Well, we get a lot in our inbox, and some of it's great and some of it is less great.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing. Like I said, back in the day, MTV told us like, this band you need to check out. They're going to be the next big thing, or we're playing them. That means you need to check them out. And that was kind of, I think, the influence they had. Now, as you said, if you're a fan of rock or metal, you got to kind of find it on your own and like follow them through social media, streaming, all that stuff, festivals. Right. So it's just interesting now. How do you dictate or decide what bands are popular right now, or who are the faces of rock? And I think for a long time, at least the last 10 years, a lot of the bands from like the 90s were like the faces of rock, the kings. But I feel like there's 3 categories. I think I was telling Thomas from State Line Empire about this. It was like, there's the OGs, the 70s and 80s bands who for the last 10, 15 years were like, they were the top rock bands, classic rock bands, touring, performing. Unfortunately, some are just fading away. Some are dying. Some are just not as big of a draw anymore. And then like, now, like the 90s bands, those are the big bands that are still like doing the big arenas and whatnot. But even still, they're kind of fading off. So eventually there's this new crop of bands that are going to have to take over and fill that hole. And Aftershock, you kind of saw that. And you're right. Like if you're a fan of rock and metal, you kind of know a lot of these bands already, or maybe you're just waiting for someone to tell you about. But yeah, it's feel like genre. It's like, it's very secluded now, like in pockets, like genres. If you're a rap hip hop fan, you know who's big right now. If you're a fan of pop, you know who's popular in that category, and rock and metal and whatnot, you know who's popular there.
That's also because the algorithm feeds that beast, right? I never listened to rap, so therefore the algorithm is never going to send me that. So then all of a sudden I'm completely outside of that bubble. While I do love me some 90s rap, but like I haven't kept up with it, so I don't know any of that, and so it's a little bit different. Real quick, I just want to stop down. Dan DeLay, hi buddy. I hope you're going to be there on Friday. I cannot wait to see you. Oh my God, we have our Halloween party on Friday. In case you don't know, it's going to be at Vinny's in Concord, all Aussie themed party. We've got Diary of a Bone Band playing. That is our Frankenstein Aussie Sabbath band. I cannot wait. They're going to be doing 2 sets. So yes, hope to see you there, Dan. Get ready for a big old squeeze. Jocelyn says hi to Shasta and Huey. I'll tell Shasta you said hello.
CH, everyone out there.
It happens.
Sorry.
It happens. Michaela said TikTok helps a lot, honestly.
True.
Yeah. So TikTok definitely can do a couple things. Number one, it can introduce you to artists that you didn't know about, or it can help resurgence of artists. Like, I'll give you an example. We all know that hit so big. This was several years ago, but Fleetwood Mac. When the dude on the skateboard used, I think it was Dreams, if I remember right. Like, pow! I mean,
drinking the juice. Yeah.
Yes. That just exploded. That's just one example of many, but it can bring back entire artists that, that into a new generation. Like Fleetwood Mac has never gone anywhere for us, but to an 18-year-old, that's new to them,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting what bands are taking off, like All American Rejects.
Sorry. Dan DeLay, we got to get some Wu-Tang in your life. Bro, I know Wu-Tang. I'm talking about like an artist that came out 5 years ago. I don't know this rapper, but I will.
And interesting because you and I were talking maybe about certain bands, and a lot of the rock and metal fans are like, oh yeah, I like that band. I've known that band for years. But for people outside that bubble, they don't know about it because we don't have like I said, MTV or other huge old school platforms to tell the casual music fan out there what to check out. So it's really interesting, like how a band, when you're already in like a little, I don't know what you want to call it, a little format fan base, how do you break out of that for more people to know about you? So yeah, like these festivals are important, I think, for exposure. It's interesting. Like I said, like Bring Me the Horizon, that was an eye opener. Like, okay, these are one of the new faces of rock to carry the genre for 5-10 years. And who knows? I mean, like we thought about this, like what, 5 years ago, we thought Greta Van Fleet was going to be that band. And listen, I know there are bands that are kind of like come in and out, like what's trending right now. Bring Me the Horizon, some people can just argue, well, this is the current trending band right now. How long will this last at this level?
How long does that trend last?
That's the other discussion. So I could be sure I was amazed 2 weekends ago, but who knows if they can maintain this for 5-10 years from now. There's a lot of bands who we think are going to be the next faces of rock, and then after a few years they kind of fade back down, and then some come back up. It's just interesting what's going to hold in the rock world for years to come.
Yeah. Michaela, I'm dying to know what band from the 2000s you discovered that you'd never heard from or heard about before. I'm going to transition us into this clip that we want to play because I think it was around 5 years ago, Mick Jagger said that the next big rock star would be Yungblud. And I remember at the time being an idiot, being like, that's ridiculous. Who's this guy? Because I didn't know him, right? So like if I don't know him, what that means, what does that mean? That means nothing. Fuck me, right? Like what an idiot.
Yeah.
And I was totally wrong because he's absolutely a born rock star. And it's very, very apparent. But my point to that is maybe it's up to some of those rock stars to be paying attention and also like taking the crown and moving it forward, right? And very cool of Mick Jagger to sort of put his stamp of approval on Yungblud. But I bring Yungblud up because I saw this clip and I sent it to Huey and I was like, I find this interesting. He's talking about some new bands.
Yeah.
Who do you have your eye on now as like the ones that are breaking through besides yourself?
I think the coolest thing about rock music is that it's extremely spherical. You know, when we talk about like, who's going to bring rock back, it's never going to be one person. I think it's got to be a complete frontier that is spherical. And I think like what's amazing, you've got like Knocked Loose and Turnstile in hardcore, and then you've got like Sleep Token, Bad Omens in metal, and obviously Bring Me, they've been flying the flag for so many years. I love Lambrini Girls in punk. I love Amel and the Sniffers. I think she's so cool. I think like one of my favorite films is Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Sure.
Like I can see that Amy's like loves that film. You know what I mean? I think like that whole like aesthetic that I'm obsessed with is happening with that. And then like in indie, you got like Fontaine's DC. I think they're amazing. And I like Wonder Horse, which is kind of like from our side of the pond. And then I think for me, like what I've been really loving about this album is almost really kind of leaning into my theatrical side of rock and roll. You know, I think I grew up on rock stars that were theatrical, like Angus Young or Freddie Mercury or David Bowie or Axl Rose. You know, I think like Madonna. I think Madonna's a rock star. You know what I mean? People would come after me for that, but she's fucking one of the most rock and rollers like ever done it. You know what I mean? I think with it all, I've been loving this sense of theater in a very reserved rock world, you know, and I think that makes people love me or hate me, and I think that's a good road to run down.
Who do you have your eye on?
Very cool.
Love him. I love everything about him. I really do. I think he's such a great thing for rock. And I love that he speaks his mind and he's not afraid of pissing people off because like, you know, that's still good. People are still talking about him, but he's just a kind, wonderful human. Of course, he has this EP coming out with Aerosmith next month, which is going to be epic. And we've been playing all of those bands, almost all of those bands you've heard on Bone Breakers. I just want to give ourselves a little pat on the back there, Huey.
Well, it's interesting what he said, and yes, we agree with him. First off, yes, number one, there's not going to be one band to carry the load on their back.
You can't put that much pressure. I think that was put on Greta Van Fleet, if I'm being honest, and I think that might be part of the problem.
Well, you look at it because I think, like, okay, for example, like the '90s grunge, when grunge took over, kicked hair metal out of mainstream. I think a lot of people say, oh, it was Nirvana who did it. And yes, Nirvana, I think, kind of led that charge. But let's be real. It was a group of bands from that Seattle area or the Pacific Northwest that led that charge. So not only was it Nirvana, it was Soundgarden, it was Pearl Jam. And then like other bands that had that like similar alternative rock sound. You look at STP. Yeah, because let's be real. They're San Diego or, SoCal. They're not, they get lumped in there.
They're not grunge.
They're not grunge.
I asked Robert directly and he said no, they are not grunge.
But like all the other then grunge bands or hard rock alternative from that early 90s that came out all collectively led this charge for this format change. But yes, with him, I'm glad he lists off a bunch of bands, but they are different subgenres of rock. And that's the key. It's like it's not just one particular sound, it's a buffet. a diverse sound. So yes, you have Sleep Token, Bad Omens, which Bad Omens, shout out Bad Omens. They blew me away as well on night 3 of Aftershock. What an amazing live performance. Like, it sounded so good. I got goosebumps watching them. It was so good. So Bad Omens, Sleep Token. Then he lists off some of the punk bands, kind of like, who are just leading that charge for more like the punk rock sound. Who else was there? But he did acknowledge, like, still, like, you got to pay respect to the OGs, the people that laid that foundation, like the quote classic rock bands, the ones that are still active. They have a very important role as well, because they can pay it forward, but like you can go see them live. And then if you're inspired, you want to find another band like them, a younger band sound, like it all crosses over. And that's the importance of everyone working together to lead this charge, this movement for rock.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong personally with being influenced and showing your influences. I know that was a big thing with people, why the people who didn't like Greta, why they didn't like Greta, because they were so closely identified with Led Zeppelin. But my thing is like, look, in 2025, it's very hard to create anything truly original. Like, it's really hard to come out and be like, I have literally never heard anything like that before. It happens from time to time, but it's so rare. And I think if you're going to be inspired, why not be inspired by some of the best? So when Yungblud is rattling off people like Queen or David Bowie or hell, even Madonna, I don't disagree with that. I think it's really cool that he is giving that shout, and then just, modernizing it or taking inspiration and making it your own thing. By the way, Dan DeLay, before you go, he is in one of my favorite bands, Drawing Heaven. So there you go. There is your shout out. I love Drawing Heaven, love seeing them play. You and I've seen them many, many times before. And I think another conversation to be had, not in this podcast, because this is a whole nother rabbit hole we could go down, but is the idea of a local band. Like, I don't even like to necessarily say a band like Drawing Heaven is like, oh, they're my favorite local band, because I think in some ways, sometimes, like, when you say that term, people like kick it down a notch. And I hate that people do that. And when I say local band, all I mean is that they're from my area and I know them. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Well, it doesn't change anything else.
Some people who have like a closed mind, they might just hear the term local band and they're like, oh, okay, they're from a particular region, but it's not my region. I don't need to care about them. Right. So Drawing Heaven
connotation
from the Bay Area, they're a local band to us, like you said, here in the Bay Area where we're from and where we're at. But yeah, a band in, Denver or people in Denver or Florida, New York, whatever, they should check out Drawing Heaven, and that could be their favorite band. Like, there's no restrictions there with the terminology.
No, I just think it's a weird connotation that gets put on that term in general. Dennis and I from Soundworks TV have talked about that before. It's like, what's a better term to use that doesn't have that on it? You know what I mean? It's like
active band.
I don't know. North band, Bay Area band. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea.
Just say the region that they're from. I mean, maybe that makes things easier, but it's just, like I said, Aftershock was a lot of fun. I think you and I accomplished a lot there. And it's like when we go in there, we have so much like different, like a strategy of what we're trying to accomplish. Not only we're just trying to interview as many bands as we can, give all these bands platforms that are promoting stuff and whatnot, have fun, genuine, authentic conversations, but also networking, because, with these bands or their PR people or record reps, this could lead to maybe future things for the station can work with. And, we're trying to think ahead, like what's something cool we could do with a band down the road and build those relationships, but also just networking with the festival people, PR people, getting content for social media. Like, we have it's like such a busy work weekend. We're trying to how can we use this to our advantage and help rock in general for our platform, our brand, what the Bone is and what it represents, and really show that we are the Rock of the Bay and we're live and local and we're doing the thing and we're doing this on our own free time, our own dime, and because we care that much about the music and we want to spread that love with everyone. So it's a challenge, but I'm super proud of what we accomplished at Aftershock.
It's a mission. I feel like in some ways, like, I don't want to over glorify us or anything, but I do feel very passionate about that. It is a mission that you and I care very deeply about this genre of music and keeping it relevant and doing our part to push it forward. And there's no one too small for us to talk to. We don't pass on. I mean, if we pass on an interview, it's simply because we're booked.
Just time restraint.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple bands, and I won't name names because I don't want to like downplay them, but there were a couple bands that came through us this year. It happens every year that we don't know, but you're like, okay, yeah, bring them on. And then we dive in, and they're cool people. They have great music. There's a reason they're there, and you can hear it immediately. I mean, God bless. That's so cool to me. Like, I'm never going to be that person that's like, oh no, I'm not going to.
And there was a couple bands that canceled on us last minute or no showed. Yeah. That was a bummer. I'm not going to say who, but that sucked because, like, listen, I traveled all the way up there, brought all my equipment, set up, and you can't give me like 5-10 minutes, but you do some other stuff, and it's like, come on. I'm trying to help you guys out, and you like just ditch me or cancel
the whole hamster wheel, right? You try to help them, they try to help you. Everyone's like, I say this all the time on Soundwaves, like all the ships in the harbor rise together. That's the way I think about it. So, you know, it really is all important. Dan said our Aftershock interviews are rad. Thank you, Dan. It really is.
Thank you.
We feel like those conversations matter because we get deep into some like music nerdery for sure.
Well, like case in point, like, you know, we talked to the guys from Death Angel. At one point, it was all three. It was three of them. It was Will, Ted, and Rob. And then Rob came back. We had an amazing just off-air personal conversation, like
hour long.
In the corner area where we were set up at, and it was just really cool to get to know him as a person. I think we really bonded with him as specifically. And so that was cool. But like a lot of the bands, like, you know, shout out the Ataris. That was great. Taking Back Sunday. I mean, you and I had a lot of great interviews together as well. Like it was just, I mean, but like, upcoming bands like Dayseeker. And then as soon as I posted Dayseeker, a couple people reached out to me. Oh, you were so lucky to talk to them. I was like, really? So they got a lot of traction going right now. Story of the Year, Black Veil Brides. I mean, 3 Days Grace. That was so cool. I mean, hell, like we got relationships now. Like Chris Kale, the bass's Five Finger. He was just there for fun, but he did an interview with us and Kitty and Chevelle, like Trivium. It's just, you know, the list goes on and on. And then the Bay Area bands, Gary Holt of Exodus, and you know, Craig and Chris from Forbidden. It's just, I'm so happy how well everything turned out. You know, at Aftershock. And it was just like I said, it's important for us to go to these festivals to see what's trending, what's taking off. I'm like, okay, Bad Omens, that was an awesome performance. Okay, we need to start playing more of them, which we were already, but like let's keep an eye on that. I mean, Bring Me the Horizon. And it's interesting seeing which bands there's a shift as well. Like some bands that were like headliners or near the top are now getting bumped down, and like the newer bands are taking off. The Plot in You, I love that band a lot. Motionless in White as well. They're like moving on up, and they're gonna be touring with Bring Me the Horizon. So you can see like these tour packages. I mean, hell, Sleep Token just sold out Oakland Arena a couple weeks ago. So it's really was an eye-opening experience that there's a shift in rock music in a good way. That there are new bands who are gonna lead that charge, and we need it right now. But like I said, is it just trending though, or are these actually good bands that are going to stick long term? So that's yet to be seen. But in the moment right now, it's fun to talk about and it's fun to promote them in some capacity and play them.
And also, you know, the other part of this equation, and, you know, I should probably be a little bit careful when I talk about this, but like I program the station, you know, you help me program the station. Like we together are pushing the brand, if you will, forward. And I don't know, like we haven't talked about this a whole bunch, but like in the last month, we have put more titles in and more songs into rotation. And there's a method to the madness, right? And so you have to look at running a station like this. It's like, okay, well, here we are in 2025, and this is what we know works now, because it is still a profit-making thing, right? Like we're in the business of keeping our jobs. So you need to have your research, and you need to know what works. But also you kind of have to like keep your head up and look at the horizon and go, but what is it in 5 years? What is it in 10 years? You know, and you have to keep pushing things forward, because you and I tend to agree, unlike other bosses that we've had, is that the line does keep moving, and you got to push up while also looking back at the past and going, those are the inspiration. Keep looking forward to and staying relevant.
I think the issue is, you know, some of our previous bosses, managers, whatever, they're older. So they're going to focus on what maybe they grew up in or what genres they were a part of or played a lot into. And I'm sure some of them, and just maybe I'm speaking more rhetorically for just the radio industry. Some
General
of the
terms,
the older people in radio, let's be real, maybe they only got a few more years left in their job. So they're probably they're going to fade out like a lot of those bands from back in the day. So they're like, I'm just going to play it safe and play
I'm not going to rock the boat.
I'm going to play these bands. These are the hit makers from back in the day. I'm just going to ride this out for as long as I can and like let the next generation figure it out. But now you and I are like, okay, what do we need to do to keep rock radio relevant in the next 10, 15 years and whatnot? That's the challenge.
Because it's not just our job, it's our passion. By the way, I want to shout out Dennis Willis, who is in the chat right now, the producer, co-host, editor, creator extraordinaire of all things of Soundwaves, because we have these conversations all the time as well.
Yeah, Mr. Soundwaves himself.
He is Mr. Soundwaves, exactly. Host of Soundwaves FM on the Bone.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we have these conversations as well because it really is like it's not just our job. Like, yes, we're so lucky that this is our job, but it is our passion. And because we don't have to do it. You and I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
We don't have to do Bone Breakers. We don't have to do Soundwaves. We don't have to do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a shit ton of work.
Yeah.
But we do it because we love it. And we want to be able to make, our stamp on what is the next thing for rock.
Well, and it's frustrating. You and I get upset and frustrated and depressed when I see like our girl Mari, our social media queen, she'll post a bunch of great articles, news articles on the Bone website, variety of rock stories. It could be like an older band, what they're up to right now. It could be a newer band. And a case in point, she posted something about Slayer, a Slayer news story. And someone left a comment, when has the Bone played Slayer? I'm like, you fucking moron. Do you not listen to the fucking Metal Zone? Like
last week on Metal Zone?
We play Slayer on the Metal Zone. Like and like some other bands she might do an article on. She's like, I never heard that band on the Bone. It's like, no, we play it on Bone Breakers. Like we do play them. Sure, it's Saturday night at 9:00. It's this little window of time, and we encourage everyone to listen then, like listen at this time. I'm sorry we don't play that band on a Tuesday at your lunch break time on the radio.
Right. Right.
We don't, we got 7 days a week, 24 hours a day of music to schedule throughout that week. Sorry, we don't play what you want to hear at that specific moment. We do our best to cater to everyone and play all the hits. But yeah, I get so fucking annoyed with that. And
I do too. I know, it's incredibly frustrating when you do feel like you're doing everything that you can and trying to like walk the tightrope, right? You want to do what's right for the station. You want to do what makes sense and what works, right? It's like Led Zeppelin's gonna work. People like that band. The proof is in the pudding. And then trying to like push the boundaries where you can and have it all flow together. It's an art. It is an art and it is not easy. And I know I'm like, now I'm tooting our own horn and getting up on a soapbox, but it really is. I'm getting like flustered. Michaela, thank you. She said, I've literally seen you do work on vacation. I don't even mind it. I mean, I don't even mind it because we love what we do. And, and I couldn't do it without Huey. That's for damn sure.
Well, the thing is, my other thing too is like, not to make a wrestling example, but in the early 2000s. Okay,
we always have to wrap around to wrestling.
But
we're used to it right now.
Like in the early 2000s, when guys like Stone Cold, The Rock were all going away and like the big names, were leaving, WWE had to start investing in younger talent. And so there was what's called the SmackDown 6. Just follow along with me. People, wrestling fans know what I'm talking about. SmackDown 6, it was like 6 young talent that they started pushing who eventually in a couple years became like the main eventers. And that's how you develop like the next generation of stars. So I'm trying to think with rock, for us on our station, we're going to play younger bands, upcoming bands on Bone Breakers. And hopefully that will bring more attention to these bands who then when they come to, because we promote their shows or festival appearances, when they tour through here, that's going to encourage people to go see them, invest in that band, become new fans, and that will lead this charge for like more new rock bands to become the face of it, to lead this charge like Yungblud's talking about here. That's what I'm getting at. It's like we need to support music in any way we can. And I know it's tough. Ticket prices can be tough. Merch, affording that stuff, gas, your time. Like It's a lot. I totally sympathize with everyone. Money's tight, but any way you can, follow on social, like all their content. That's the other thing. Musicians have to be also content creators now, post stuff on social media.
Editors, graphic designers. I mean, it goes on and on. It's an unbelievable ask. Like they have to do everything. Gone is the day where you just sit in a room and write a song and then go record it and put it on the world. You're done. Like that's like the tip of the iceberg with what you need to do.
Same thing. What you just said for musicians, same could be for radio people. You just can't just go in a room, do your show, and that's it. Like you got to wear multiple hats. You got to contribute in multiple ways. You got to be, on-air personality that's entertaining, podcaster, content creator, editor, promotion person. Like there's so many hats you need to wear. And, if you don't have that energy or that pride or that passion, you're going to get left behind. And the people that do care are the ones who are going to lead that charge and become the face of radio.
Agreed. So, Harumph. I love it. We're on our soapbox. Okay. I have to go with that. I have to go because I have my Rush qualifier. By the way, we haven't even talked about the fact that Rush is back. And I do want to say, what they have done it was really tricky. Replacing I don't even like to use that term. That feels weird. Replacing Neil. But the choice they made with Annika Niles, first of all, I love that she's a female drummer, but we don't have to focus on that because it doesn't matter. She's just a badass drummer no matter what she is. But I think it was a really cool thing that they did, and I'm very excited. They sold out like basically all their shows, so they had to add like a whole bunch more cities, and San Jose is one of them. Woo! So happy. So we'll be qualifying. Here's the full story. We have 3 pair of tickets. So we're qualifying everyone for the week. And then at the end of the week, we'll draw for those 3 winners. So that's the way we're doing it. And one of the times on my show is in the 11 o'clock hour. And it's right now. Yeah. So I just want to say real quick, rest in peace to Ace Frehley of Kiss. Rest in peace, Sam Rivers of Limp Bizkit. Ace Frehley came by the studio once years ago. Awesome guy. Super fun. The Kiss Army was in the studio. He took his time talking to everyone, taking photos, signing autographs. Super cool. Sam Rivers, we first met him back in 2018. Aftershock did a great interview with him with his other band, Sleep Killers. Unfortunately, very sad to see him go, pass away. Yeah. So it was cool. We saw him at Limp Bizkit opening for Metallica back in June. Sam, sent me that message afterwards that he saw me in the snake pit. So very cool. He was able to reach out like that. I appreciate that. A lot going on. Chasta, like, I know it's mid-October now, but it's like there's so much to look forward to. We got our Halloween party this Friday. Vinny's in Concord. Come on out Friday, October 24th. All-star band doing a bunch of Ozzy and Black Sabbath songs. Our boy DJ Bleeding Priest, a.k.a. Will Carroll from Death Angels, performing. So much to look forward to. Niner games and then the holidays and birthday stuff. So much to look forward to. If you're bored, it's on you. You're just not paying attention because there's a lot going on. In fact, there's so much going on. You have to make hard choices. But we hope you'll be with us on Friday because that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited. I'll tell everybody here, I'm going to be a bat. I'm going to be a friggin' bat. I'm so excited. It has little wings and everything.
I need to get an outfit. I have no idea what I'm going to wear.
Be a friggin' bat. And then we can walk around and go, we're friggin' bats. Oh, my God.
Ooh, is there bat wings? Okay, bat wings?
Yes, I can help you. I'll send you links.
All right. Okay.
I have a little hood and it has little ears, and then when you raise your arms, it's bat wings. And then I have little tights that have you can wear the tights too that have little bats on them. It's so cute.
Okay. All right. We'll brainstorm after.
Okay. All right.
We'll get your winner.
Thank you guys for being here. Yes. You don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys later. We love you very much.
Bye. And my phone.